Welcome back to my channel. My name is Afama Omesi. I run the website Reading Middle Grade, where I champion the best middle grade books for kids ages 8 to 14. Guys, it's middle grade March. So exciting. I always love middle grade March because then the whole world, the whole of the literary world, all the book lovers take the time to celebrate middle grade literature, or at least learn a little more about it. I hope to make a few videos about middle grade books that adults can enjoy, and also just recommend more middle grade books this month for you. But today we're talking about March new releases. I'm going to be sharing 3 wonderful books that I've read that are releasing in March 2025. And as you know, these 3 books are just an excerpt of what I share with my Patreon community. So every month on Patreon, I share new releases that I've read and that I've enjoyed. Not just everything publishers are releasing that month, but new releases that I personally recommend. I include content notes, everything you need to know about the book before handing it to the kids in your life or purchasing it for your school, library, or classroom. Today, I have 3 wonderful books to share with you, and I'm very excited because I read some exceptional books this month. Let's talk about them. The first book that I'm talking about today, and one of my favorites really, honestly, is The Trouble with Sunshine by Yamile Saied Mendez. This is not my first book by this author, but it's probably my favorite one of hers that I've read. It's all about a girl named Dorian. So Dorian is a good kid. She's been on the straight and narrow. She does everything right. Very responsible young girl. But something happens one day in school and she's on the verge of suspension. So she calls her mom to pick her up. But when her mom is on her way to her, something tragic happens and her mother ends up losing her life. Now, Dorian's life is thrown upside down. She can't stay with her stepfather to be, so she's sent to Wyoming to live with her aunt, who is known as the Wicked Witch of the West. When she gets there, she doesn't know what to expect. She's going from Florida, where she has like a strong Puerto Rican community, and going over to Wyoming, where there's like nobody who looks like her. And so when she gets there, she's adjusting to life with her aunt. Her aunt actually is an equine therapist, so she uses horses to give therapy to people. And so as soon as she gets there, Dorian who is not an animal person, gets really sucked into the life of the animals, and she finds a horse that she connects with. This felt like quintessential middle grade literature, and the kind of book I think about when I think about myself as a child reading. Just a story about another kid overcoming a challenge. And I can see so many fans of realistic fiction, especially kids who love horses, who love friendship stories, who love fish out of water stories, enjoying this one. It is just lovely. It reads so beautifully. I was very much hooked throughout the story, despite the fact that it wasn't like a mystery or anything very high suspense. There's just such a strong emotional hook, and it's very captivating for readers to root for Dorian throughout this story and see the way her life grows and improves with her found family community, and the way she learns to believe more in herself and finds friendships that support her throughout this difficult time. This is a great one for kids ages 9 and up, and if you love this author's work, then I can guarantee that you will adore the story as well. Next up is A Study in Secrets, which is the first book in the Last Chance Academy series by Debbi, Michiko, Florence. This is a new scavenger hunt style mystery set at a private boarding school, which is like giving all the vibes that middle grade readers are looking for these days. So if you enjoyed books like The Liar Society or other mysteries set at boarding schools, this is one that you must pick up. It's all about Megumi Mizuno, who gets sent to Last Chance Academy, which is a school where badly behaved kids, or kids who for some reason are on their last straw with their parents, are sent to. So they go there, it's very strict, they get all the learning, they get to do a lot of extracurricular activities as well. Very small, very elite. So Meg goes there and she's reeling from the grief of losing her mother. Oh my goodness, 2 grief books. But this book doesn't focus too heavily on the grief. Both of the books that I've talked about do not focus too heavily on the grief, so you don't have to worry about it being very sad. So she's at this boarding school. It hasn't even been like a week. And then there's like a silver envelope tucked under her door for her and for her roommates, inviting them to play this scavenger hunt game. They have no idea who's organizing it, but there's a prize attached that really has all the kids who are invited very interested. interested. And so all the kids invited are very invested in winning this. And as Megumi goes through life in this school, she learns a lot of secrets about some of the kids who are there. And of course, she starts to figure out who might be behind this game, who's the mastermind behind this game. But we're left with a bit of a cliffhanger as we get to the winner of the game, and the next book seems to have more promise to reveal to us who is actually the mastermind. But this first book is really all about the friendships that Megumi forms and her ability to overcome all the obstacles to having real friends, true friends, feeling like she's always going to be disappointed by people, and really overcoming that to have a more, like a richer life, and also to be able to enjoy her time at Last Chance Academy while trying to mend her relationship with her father. I enjoyed the story. I couldn't stop reading. I couldn't put it down, and I'm just very excited for kids to get their hands on it. I'm also extra excited because we're having author Debbi Michiko Florence over for a virtual visit in April. It's going to be on the 23rd of April at 12 p.m. EST. I'm going to leave a link below. You're welcome to sign up, join the fun. She's going to be talking to us about her other books, which if you're not familiar with this author, she's written some really cute middle grade romances. She's also the author of Jasmine Toguchi. So we're very excited to be spending some time with her next month. And I'm glad that more kids will be able to have these books in their hands by the time the author visit rolls around. A Study in Secrets is perfect for kids ages 9 and up. Highly recommend it for readers who love mysteries, scavenger hunts, puzzles, everything that has to do with the intellectual mind-cracking type of mystery. My final pick for today is the graphic novel Story Spinners by Cassandra Federman. I had very low expectations for this book because I'm not a huge fan of silly stories. I tend to have to like force my way through them because I know that a lot of kids enjoy these stories, but this was one I did not have to force myself to get through. It is so lovely, so incredibly silly, so funny, and so heartwarming. It's all about two sisters, well, three sisters, but we'll get to that. Two sisters, Devon and Kennedy. Kennedy's the older sister, very serious. She loves romances. She's all about her friends. She's 10. So she's very much far in age from her 5-year-old sister, Devon, who likes pirates and scary stories, and who is a bit of a firecracker. Both girls are always bickering. They can't seem to get along, and their parents are kind of over it, especially when they have one big fight that escalates and eventually damages their television. And their mom is like, hand over your devices, no devices for you until you can figure out what's going on between the both of you. So both girls have their fighting complicated by the fact that they have a new sister, Eve, who has moved into their bedroom. Eve is a baby. She's probably maybe 1 at most, but we don't really get a specific age, but she's a baby. She sleeps in the crib in their bedroom and she's sleep training. So she's not really getting much sleep. And her crying is aggravating for the girls. So they decide, we're gonna work together. We're gonna tell Eve a story that will put her to bed. And then our parents will see that we're getting along and they'll give us back our devices. So they tell the most outrageous, insane story about princesses and pirates. And honestly, I was living for the story. It was a great story. I love when the story within a story is engaging enough that you're not like flipping through those parts of the story. So really, really fun, really enjoyable, very short. It's about 208 pages. And it's all about sisterhood. It's all about agency, and it's all about fairy tales, turning fairy tales on their head. It's really well done. The illustrations are gorgeous. I love that there's like a narrator and then of course the stories going on. I always love when we get a narrator, even if it's a graphic novel. There's also a delightful surprise at the end of the story. This is one that the publisher bills as being for ages 7 to 10, and I agree. I also think that 11-year-olds and maybe some middle schoolers might enjoy this, although it's definitely targeted to a younger audience. This one will appeal to fans of Raina Telgemeier. In my mind, I think of it as a cross between Raina Telgemeier and Dogman. You know, that twist between realistic graphic novels and like the wacky, silly graphic novels. So I think it's going to have a really wide audience base, especially if they also like family stories. So those are 3 wonderful books coming out in March 2025. Do not miss any of these 3 stories, and I would love for you to head over to Patreon to find out more about the books that I've shared with my Patreon community. I'm going to be sharing at least 10 middle grade books with them, with maybe 1 or 2 YA selections. These are all wonderful selections for kids ages 8 to 14. When you join my Patreon community, you get access to my monthly new release posts. You also get access to my reading recap episodes, my book matchmaking service, and many other perks, including our summer reading guide, which is coming very, very soon. I'm so excited about that, and I would love to see you in our Patreon community. You can join for as little as $10 a month. If you loved this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I will see you in the next one. Bye.